When we say equilibrium, what do we mean? Is it a strange word? Is it a familiar word? Let's see. Now, when you look at this image or diagram, you can see a scale, and on that scale, the hand is giving out something to a receiver, and what is being given out and what is being received are both equal. So when we say equilibrium or market equilibrium in economics, it is a state in which the supply and demand for a given good or service are in balance. Other definitions are: equilibrium is a situation which occurs when there is a balance between quantity demanded and quantity supplied. Okay, it also means when quantity demanded and quantity supplied are equal. So that's what equilibrium means. Now, still onto some concepts on equilibrium. We have the equilibrium price, and it is that price at which the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity of commodities supplied. Now, the point where the demand curve meets the supply curve is called equilibrium point or equilibrium position. Are we together? Okay. So where the supply curve and demand curve meets or intersects, we call that point the equilibrium point. Please, are we together? Now, to buttress these points clearly, we're going to compare a demand with supply by drawing a schedule. A schedule is a table, okay? So this schedule or table show the quantity of goods demanded and supplied. Okay. Now, what do we see from this schedule or table? We see the price of a particular commodity, we see the quantity demanded at different prices, and then the quantity supplied at different prices. Now, there's something very interesting about this table. This table actually buttresses the law of demand and supply. We can see that at a lower price, the quantity demanded is higher, while the quantity supplied is lower. And then at a higher price, the quantity demanded is lower, while the quantity supplied is higher. So this schedule very much illustrates the law of demand and supply. Now, from this table or schedule, we can see that at price 3, at 3 naira, 6 units of goods were demanded and 6 units of goods was supplied. What does that tell us? It means 3 naira is equilibrium price, while 6 units is the equilibrium quantity. You can see now that at 3 naira, the same quantity of goods was demanded, and then the same quantity of that same goods was supplied. There is no addition, there is no reduction, it is balanced. This is what we mean by equilibrium. Now, this schedule can further be illustrated with the use of a curve or a graph. You know, in economics, we love to make use of graphs or curves. Okay, now the data from the table or schedule has been imputed into this graph. Well, there is something I want to point out from this graph. Now we can see where the demand curve and supply curve intersects. And that point is called the equilibrium position or equilibrium point. Now we have something on this graph, excess supply or surplus, and we also have the excess demand or shortage. What does this mean? Okay, now we are talking about equilibrium when the demand and supply are equal. But in a real life market situation, it is not every time that the demand and supply will be equal, which means it is not every time that the market will be in equilibrium. So let's consider a price above the equilibrium price. and the price above the equilibrium price is 4 naira. So what happens if the equilibrium price, if the price shifts from the equilibrium price to 4 naira, which means what happens if the price changes from 3 naira to 4 naira? Let's see. Remember, the price has increased. And according to the law of demand, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. But according to the law of supply, the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied, which means the quantity supplied will be more than the quantity demanded. And that will give us what we call excess supply or surplus. So when the price is high, or when the price shifts or moves higher than the equilibrium price, producers will want to supply more and consumers will want to demand less. And that will leave us with excess supply or surplus. Now, let's look at the price below the equilibrium. The equilibrium price is 3 naira. So let's consider a price below it. So the price below 3 naira is, we can pick any price below or any price above to buttress our point. So let's pick 2 naira as a price below the equilibrium price. So at 2 naira, it means the price has dropped. And according to the law of demand, the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. And according to the law of supply, the lower the price, the lower the quantity supplied. Which means consumers will demand more of this commodity at price 2 naira. And producers will not be willing to supply at that price. And that means there will be excess demand or shortage. So what consumers are looking for, producers are not willing to offer at that lower price. So this is what the excess supply and excess demand on this graph means.